Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Micali. So let's begin here. There's chapters involved. This is going to be a hefty one, in my opinion. We have a lot to cover. Everything's going good, looking great. Let's start right here with a little bit XRP news. This is from Ripple.com, and it goes as such. iRemit expands partnership with Ripple to further leverage on-demand liquidity for treasury management. They're expanding. Everything's growing. It's looking good. We're dominating when it comes to the SEC case. We have corridors all around the world. We're in deep with the IMF. We're in deep with the digital dollar and the Fed. We have Rosie Rios, former U.S. Treasury, who has signed more money than anybody in the world. We have so many things going on. Couldn't possibly be better right now, in my humble opinion. And keep in mind that when all these banks are using XRP, or the XRP out, they have to hold XRP. It functions better at a higher price. It functions better. Transaction fees are lower. And the more liquidity that's there, and we have a ton of liquidity, by the way, that's going to come in handy later because everybody around the world, central banks, private banks, public banks, they're going to need our liquidity. There's a liquidity crisis on the horizon. Not only that, they're going to need our agnostic bridge currency in more ways than one because we are at the core of a neutrality between the nations, right? So you have the BRICS nations coming up and doing what they're doing with their world reserve currency they're trying to build. Then you have the United States that wants to keep the dollar as the world reserve currency, the petrodollar. We know that the petrodollar is dying, is going to die because of the green initiative. They're going to kill it, right? They've been trying to just hamper the oil industries. And so that petrodollar is going to come to an end at some point. That's just a reality. So they have to have some way to communicate and send value back and forth. That's not going to stop businesses. Even though the governments may be in contention, businesses still are going to want to do business with each other. So that's where you have an agnostic bridge currency comes in handy at those times. One that's instant finality, like XRP. XRP is more important than more people could ever know. What they've done, what Ripple has done, is more important than people will ever know. And what we hold is more valuable, mark my words, more valuable than what most people will ever know. It's my humble opinion, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, okay? Doesn't matter to me whether you buy XRP or not. I'm just sharing my humble opinion. That's all. I'm here for the bank's money. So let's go get that bank money. And the setup is beautiful. But let's read this little tidbit here. Ripple, the leader in enterprise blockchain and crypto solutions, today announced that iRemit, the largest non-bank remittance service provider in the Philippines, will expand its use of Ripple's on-demand liquidity ODL solution to improve its cross-border treasury flows. Now, I don't remember if I put this in the members only section or in a regular video, but I recently covered a part of a bank document that was talking about cross-border liquidity, cross-border flows, and they were debating on what would be better, whether that should be controlled by like an international payment system or a localized payment system. And I was saying that if it was localized, it would only be temporary. It can only be temporary because the local economies are going to get crushed. Listen, the Fed, the central banks, the governments are trying to pull the wool over the people's eyes. Hey, you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing based on what's happening, based on the data, based on the aggressive way they're going to have to raise interest rates. They have to. They have to. In order to bring inflation down, which is much higher than what they're actually telling to the public. It's much higher than that from what I've seen. And we're already in deceleration, by the way. They're not saying that to the public either. You cannot trust these individuals. You can't. But because of that and having to aggressively raise interest rates, they're going to crush the economies. This is the result, cause and effect. Not only that, if you look at, and I was going to cover this later, but we need to get into this right now. This is important. But I've been saying for a long time, watch the layoffs. Watch that people are getting fired left and right. Companies are laying workers off by the thousands, by the hundreds. This has been happening for months. That's a sign of deceleration. That's a sign that the world is going into a depression. You can't just look at the United States. You can't just look at Europe. You know, I know sometimes we just look at these two regions and maybe another region or two, but you have to look at the world as a whole, because they have already sort of been operating as a worldwide system, a one world system, sort of a one world system light version. So everything affects everyone, right? It's a weird way to say that, but you understand what I'm trying to convey to you. So the entirety of the world is going into not just recession, deceleration. So I'm going to put some things on the screen. Hopefully I remember to do that here. Sometimes I forget, there's so much into these videos to edit and do, but there's been mass layoffs in September alone. Like you wouldn't believe. It is a symptom of what is to come. People need to prepare now. How you do that is up to you. All right. I can only give you the warning, give you the message, but mass layoffs, we are going into what, unless they take dramatic actions, and they can, but unless they execute on those actions, the world is heading into a depression, a global depression. No matter how delusional the governments of these various so-called world powers want to be, that's where everything is headed. Higher prices, stagnant inflation, and mass layoffs, that's the sign of a depression, in my humble opinion. I could be wrong, but like I said, you see all of the layoffs, that's just a little bit, that's just a modicum of the layoffs. Let's continue on reading this a little bit here. It says, as a partner of Ripple since 2018, iRemit is an early adopter of on-demand liquidity and has been using the blockchain-enabled enterprise solution to clear cross-border payments in real time and cost-effectively into the Philippines. Everything in degrees. That's another thing. So a lot of people will say, well, if they're using it, why isn't the price of XRP skyrocketing? Everything in degrees. They don't clarify to you to what degree they've been using it. They just said they're using it. They didn't say we're using it a whole lot. They didn't say we're using it a whole little. Clarity is very important here. A lot of entities who have been utilizing on-demand liquidity have been utilizing it to the minimum degree. They're testing it out. Not only that, they're waiting for regulatory clarity around the world. Not only that, the network functions better when everything comes online together, all at once. When everything is up and running, it functions at its best. That's why a lot of people believe in the flip the switch moment. And that's why I believe Brad Garlinghouse is always talking about flipping the switch. Everything works better when it's all coming online all at once. And that money can flow from this bank to that bank, this large business institution to that large business institution instantaneously, right? There is no gaps in the flow of everything. So what they've been doing, in my humble opinion, is just trying everything out, running it on a minor scale. That's it. I firmly believe if you read the Ripple white papers, you'll see, the XRPL white papers, you'll see that when everything is up and running, there is no way that price stays down. There's no way that price will skyrocket. So now let's move on here onto this next little tidbit here, because I have so many articles. I want to get through all of them. So now we have, this was also, I believe, tweeted by Ripple, and it's titled, "What is the real use case of tokens in global economies?" Let's just scroll down here, read this little tidbit. I don't know why every time I talk, I get like air caught in my chest. That ever happen to anybody out there? When you're talking for a long periods of time? It says, even as cryptocurrency world is abuzz with the upgrade of the world's second most valuable digital currency, in what is known as the Ethereum merge, the fundamental question of the real value of a token is still up in the air. Okay, let me stop right there. That's because we're in uncharted territory. But anyone who does the research knows what's coming. You have the value of real estate is already being placed on the distributed ledger technologies already. I'm jumping ahead once again, but you just had an executive in New York buy an entire office building as an NFT. That happened within the last few days. So all of the value of real estate will come to us and be flowing through the distributed ledger technologies, the bank coins, in my humble opinion. They will be the last one standing. So you have all of that value, so take that number into account. Then you have interbank payments, millions upon millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of that type of transaction per day. High value, high volume. also flowing across the bank coins. So you take that number into account. Then you have all of the transactions between the localized banks. That's a high value and high transaction. Then you have payroll. These are all things that we've already been set up to do. Then you have payroll flowing across the blockchains, high value, high transaction volume. How does that affect the numbers? So then you have the tokenization of debt. They're going to have to do that, by the way. Who's going to trust who to pay off these particular giant global debts that most can't pay off? And it's just the world debt is unbelievable. And that's another reason why the world economies are going to get crushed. The world debt is too high. The central banks, they fumbled the ball. I mean, no disrespect to them, but because they do have a lot of brilliant people in there, but there are other individuals with power who fumbled the ball. They messed up and they cannot correct it. This is why a reset is in play. A great reset. Yes, just like they said, but it's different than how they conveyed it to everyone. They need to reset the system. So this is another reason why they're allowing the system to collapse. I think everyone's seeing it, aren't you? Everyone's suffering across the board, no matter how great or how small. They're suffering across the board. Things are tighter, things are harder. Supplies, there's less of that. Businesses, small businesses are getting crushed. They could take action right now. But in order to build something new, oftentimes you have to let a piece, or if not all of the system, collapse in on itself. Then the people will clamor for the new system. They will have no choice but to accept the new system, which a lot of people are against. They don't like the new system. They don't trust the governments, and rightfully so, because the governments really haven't earned anybody's trust. We'll put it that way. But if you make a person suffer enough, sometimes they will accept certain harsh realities because it was better than the reality that they were facing at the prior time. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, it's like the man crawling through a desert. He wouldn't have drank that dirty cup of water before, but give him let's say 2 days. Let's give him 2 days of thirst and extreme heat. He will grab that cup and chug it down like it's the best drink on earth. That's what they're allowing to happen right now. The people have to see with their eyes and take precautionary measures. Hey, I mean, they could do what they want. This is not advice. But those with eyes to see and ears to hear, they understand what's coming and they're preparing. A great separation will happen from those who make generational wealth. If that does occur, there's no guarantees, but a great separation will happen because a lot of the ones who are not in that 1%, that new 1%, you know how everybody says that? The ones who are not in that will suffer greatly for a time, theoretically speaking. But the new 1%, they will escape the suffering. The suffering won't be forever, but until the new system is fully in place and they can have everything up and running, there will be a great amount of struggle in the world. And yes, things are going to, I've been saying this for a long time, things are going to get harder because we're in the free fall. We're in the collapse right now. Prices will go up more. They're going to try to pad the fall just minorly, just enough so that people feel like the governments care about them. That's why you see the stimulus checks from the states going out. They're giving people what, $250 for gas and stuff like that. It's a psychological ploy. They know they could do much more. They're giving billions of dollars to different causes around the world. But when it comes to their own people, they're not giving that much. They're not giving that much. They only need to give them enough so that they psychologically can make it a little bit further. So that later on, when these powers come to you later, maybe you're not so standoffish with them because you remember that they helped you once. And once something is experienced and within the memory, it becomes oftentimes exaggerated, right? So later on, you remember this help being much more than what it actually was. It also helps them to maintain power through elections, because if they don't help the people just a little bit, the people might be apt to vote a lot of individuals out of office, and they should. If you're not doing your job, they should be voted out of office. I don't care who they are. I don't care who they are. They don't have any love for the people, and the people shouldn't have any love for them. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. If you're not doing your job, you have to get out. Anyway. Everything is looking good so far when it comes to XRP, man. So tokenization, we were talking about all of that of what I just said, because of the tokenization of everything will affect the new world system. It will be a new world order. Everything will be digitized. Everything will be on the distributed ledger technologies. This is coming. There is no stopping it. So now let's move on to this next article. After sharing those very, very light thoughts, right? It's not light. We have this article here from U.Today. And it goes as such. Ripple moves 30 million XRP. Here's why it could be bullish. Ripple injects 30 million XRP in on-demand liquidity. 292 million XRP moved in total. They're getting ready. Everything's getting set up. We only have a short while before this case has to be over. A short while. And so far, everything's looking good. Very, very good. Let's read this little tidbit here. I'm very excited, by the way. I'm very excited. It's been a long time coming. According to one of the tweets from the source, Ripple shifted 30 million XRP to Bitso exchange located in Mexico. That is Ripple's partner, in which the company invested an undisclosed amount of funds back in the fall of 2019. The transaction was made from one of Ripple's reserve addresses, which is used to send crypto to financial institutions, customers, and exchanges, according to, how do you pronounce this? BitHump? Like, why do so many blockchain companies have like very strange names? An XRP focused wallet tracker. Aside from that, Bitso is a crypto unicorn and Ripple's on-demand liquidity platform. On-demand liquidity is a system for fast, seamless cross-border payments that utilizes XRP. We all know that. We all know that. So now that Ripple continues its legal fight against the SEC, it is doing very well. This is what I've been saying the whole time. We're doing great right now. We're dominating right now. You know what? I want to touch on something very briefly. I see this a lot. There's some people who they get very upset if people sell their XRP. I get it. I understand. I get it. I understand personally. I'm not selling my XRP. The value will be able to be used outright. So they'll probably have like an XRP card or something. You can use that value outright, and it's going to be so convenient because you can use it anywhere, right? You can use your XRP anywhere. You know, you can use it in Japanese currency. You can use it in United States currency. It's an agnostic bridge currency. There will be many improvements over the years. So, you know, I think what some people's standpoint is that, let's say you transfer your value into the US dollar, and the US dollar at some point collapses, you know, because the petrodollar status is eradicated. If the petrodollar status is removed, or US dollar is removed as a world reserve currency, and it's just another currency, that value will plummet dramatically. While if that value was in XRP, you can move it to any currency that you want, any value that you want, or just hold it in XRP, which probably will be, it will derive its value. Either is going to be asset backed, in my humble opinion. I've said this since last year. Either it's going to be asset backed, or it could be, derive its value from a basket of currencies. I think that would be a little bit more realistic. And of course, it could derive its value from a basket of currencies that is also in turn backed by a resource, right? So you know how that works. So that's why a lot of people feel like, you know, that XRP should never be sold. But people have to make the best decisions for themselves. Some people want to take profit. They need that value for their family or for projects and stuff like that. I completely understand that. I personally don't. It doesn't matter to me what people do with their personal XRP and money, and doesn't make a difference to me. But I just see this wave of people, this wave of people attacking individuals who said that they're thinking about taking profit on XRP once it explodes, when the case is over. And so, I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. It doesn't matter to Alphanim what you do. I'm holding. Simple as that. I'm holding. I know where things are going to go. I'm waiting on the tsunami, not the flood. The flood will be fun. The flood will be fun. I'm waiting on the tsunami. Just personally, that's my path. I'm not backing down. It's not going to happen, but I'm still going to have love for anybody, whether they hold their XRP or not. It makes no difference to me. Take your profit. Life is short sometimes. You have to make the best decisions for you. You never know what's coming the next day. You never know how long we have left on earth. Live your life and be free. That's how I feel, not advice. So everything is going very, very well. We have this activity here. It says overall whale alert stated that a total of 291.7 million XRP has been wired between wallets in BitGo, Bittrex, Bitstamp, and Bitso. That's a lot of B's, including Ripple. Okay. So anyway, everything is looking great in my humble opinion. Let's move on. Here, all the bank coins. All the bank coins have been doing a wonderful job. I'm very excited, man. Things are heating up. Algorand is no different. They've been going insane with activities, and here we have it. It says Algorand appoints Michelle Quintagli as Chief Marketing Officer. Listen, do you guys research these people when they're bringing them onto the teams? Because I do. And I've encouraged for a long time people to know if you're going to invest in a cryptocurrency and there is a company building on that decentralized ledger, to know if that team is strong or not. Oftentimes, the success of that protocol is going to greatly be affected by who is building on it, right? You can have a whole bunch of companies building on it, but it would be better to have a bunch of companies that have powerhouse individuals as a part of those companies building on it, rather than have a bunch of weak companies who nobody has any sort of experience or background in, that's not going to do well and can't land partnerships. You get what I'm saying? So the people are very, very important. This is a powerhouse person. Do you see how Algorand has been just putting together this mega team? Something big is coming. They're preparing. Listen, everything in degrees. We still have some years left on the timeline, but they're preparing now. I'm assuming that something major is coming. Like I said, I believe in 2023, we're getting some major announcements, because in 2022, there was a lot of holdback, especially because of these, regulatory conditions. I could be wrong, but I think in 2023, something major is coming. You don't bring heavy hitters like this on a team. It's been like 3 or 4 heavy hitters in the last month and a half. These are powerhouses. Why? Listen, I know some people will say, well, it's a business, Alpha Name. They want to do great business. Listen, they're also a business that deals with banks. When you're trying to land the big deals, the big partnerships with banks, you have to bring in impressive names. You have to bring in people that can market. This is a marketing officer. You have to bring in people that know how to market this, not to retail. There's a special type of marketing that is done when you're marketing to large business institutions and banks. Something's on the way. I could be wrong, but this is what I'm seeing. Let's read this little tidbit here. Algorand, the pure proof of stake carbon negative layer 1 blockchain network, today announced the appointment of Michelle Quintagli. I don't know why I'm getting tongue twisted on that name. Quintagli as its chief marketing officer. Joining the Algorand leadership team, she will report to the interim CEO, Sean Ford, and will lead global marketing and communications with a focus on building Algorand's brand and reach through strategic growth initiatives. In her new role, Quintagli will enhance Algorand's position in the marketplace through brand positioning and narrative development, identifying and activating key sponsorships and partnerships. That's key. Let me scroll up here, because I could have sworn they let us know. There you go. This is a heavy hitter from Visa and Fidelity. Most people are not going to see what's coming. They're not going to see it. Algorand is going to take off. They're not perceiving everything that's being put together, seeing the entire puzzle. Don't see a piece, see the entire puzzle. Don't look at the finger, look at the moon. You're going to miss all the heavenly glory. Too many people looking at the finger. Master Bruce told you. It's like a finger pointing at the moon. Don't stare at the finger. You're going to miss all that heavenly glory. Heavy hitter from Visa and Fidelity. We don't need to go much further than that. Algorand is becoming an absolute beast. Let's go on to this next little piece of Algorand news. Afghan e-payment solution Hisab Pay successfully migrates to Algorand blockchain through grant funding. I told you those grants are key. They're bringing them in. Algorand is bringing in money from the top and the bottom. How many Algo is in circulating supply? Remember, it went parabolic already. That was off of retail. That was off of retail. People made a ton of money last year when Algorand went parabolic. We got Algorand at a low. Imagine what's to come. Just imagine. Think about it. Not imagine. Pull to the forefront of your mind all that research, all the partnerships we didn't have last year when Algorand went parabolic. All these partnerships now. And just do the calculations on where that price can go. Oh man, it's going to be fun. The Algorand Foundation, whose mission is to empower the ecosystem of Algorand, the carbon negative layer 1 blockchain invented by Turing Award winner MIT professor Silvio Micali, today announced that Afghan e-payment solution Hisab Pay has successfully migrated to the platform. Hisab Pay's migration, which was funded through the foundation's grant program, is expected to stimulate about 6,000 transactions daily. This is only going to grow. This is just where we're starting. This is where we're starting. And all of their sister and brother organizations will take notice, and they will want to utilize Algorand as well. Word of mouth goes far. The proof is in the pudding. They will want to taste the Kool-Aid. They'll want to use Algorand as well. This is how it always works. They let one be the tester of it. And then all the other banks and non-banking financial institutions, the NBFIs, then they want a piece. We've seen it happen already. It's going to spread. This is where we're beginning. It says stimulate about 6,000 transactions daily and impact tens of thousands of Afghans, especially women in dire need of access to payments. That's another thing I like about Algorand. They walk it like they talk it. They are the people's. Did you notice that one of their high-ranking people in one of their tweets recently used the term Algorand is the people's coin? Did you see that? That's what I've been saying. And I haven't heard anybody else say that about Algorand. Usually people say that about XLM Stellar. And I said, no. Looking at what Algorand has been doing, Algorand is the people's coin. And here they are on the ground again. They're feeding millions. Algorand is feeding millions of children, are going to, in India. That was recent. Now they're on the ground here again, helping people who are in need of help again. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm here to make some money, but there's respect goes a long way. The money is good, but respect, that feels even better. What movie is that from? Was that Respect Feels Even Better? They are the people's coin. But I did see that, sir. Yeah, you watching a little alpha meme. Okay, I appreciate it. Possibly watching a little alpha meme, but that's like. That person wrote that like right after I've been saying Algorand is the people's coin. They are. But let's continue on here. Utilizing the Algorand blockchain as a settlement layer, Hisab Pay users will benefit from its pure proof of stake consensus mechanism, which enables near zero cost transactions that settle within 4.5 seconds. This is expected to increase the ease and efficiency in which Hisab Pay connects international organizations to the citizens of Afghanistan. We're only going to get faster. We're only going to get stronger. We're only going to be able to do more transactions per second. It's going to increase. Remember, I called it last year. I said that I believe that all of the bank coins will be getting stronger and faster. I said that about around the time that Starlight Protocol came out. I said like maybe a little bit before. You can watch the videos if you want to go back and watch the old videos. And then everybody has been strengthening their blockchains or distributed ledger technologies. Hashgraph upgraded, XDC upgrade, everything all within a few months time of each other, except for Stellar. They jumped out front with the Starlight Protocol, which is mind blowing, by the way. It says Afghanistan's liquidity has been drastically constrained by a paralyzed banking sector. So we're going to loosen up all that value over in Afghanistan, which is going to be very interesting to watch develop over the years. We'll see how things work out, but this is very, very good. Let's move on. More Algorand news. This is from Silvio Micali. It says, state proofs are now live. This technology enables the construction of decentralized bridges, allows nodes to join our consensus process without having to trust any initializing information, and makes Algorand quantum safe, all while prioritizing decentralization. So there you have it. State proofs live. Silvio Micali, the man himself, is letting you know Algorand is going to take over. They're going to dominate. I'm telling you now, watch out for when there's regulatory clarity. Watch out how they dominate. Stellar and Algorand are going to dominate when it comes to working with the states. I believe that with all my heart. There's too much interest in the states for XLM, Stellar, and Algorand. Every account and every wallet that utilizes Stellar must hold lumens. Lumens are used for transaction fees as well, and to create that little bit of friction. And that's if someone doesn't add a new use case. I think they will. I'm not gonna say anything just yet, but we'll wait to see what happens. We'll wait to see. But I think that there's bigger things on the horizon when it comes to Stellar. But anyway, let's continue on here. So more Algorand news. So, you know, they've been doing a lot of great advertising. They had the billboard at the airport. They had the billboard in Times Square. Then Hedera did the same thing. Hedera, you're learning from the greats. Algorand is the greats when it comes to advertising in the Bankcoin family. They were out there first. But anyway, you also know that they had a lot of advertising at Australia Zoo, and that Australia Zoo had offered their NFTs on Algorand. Okay, well here's a little bit more on that. This is from MetalLabs.io. It says, we often get asked what the Australian Zoo's NFTs utility is. This is on Algorand, okay? It says the answer is this. This is the reward. So some of this money, well, they give you an example. Let me read the example. It says, poor Whistle, the koala Joey, lost her mom to a car accident while she was still in her pouch. Apart from some minor bruising, sorry about that, Whistle is doing great. She loves her regular fees and is receiving lots of TLC from her dedicated wildlife carer. What a precious little girl. So some of the funds, if not all of the funds from these NFTs are going towards helping injured animals. I told you, a rising tide raises all ships. Everybody is winning who is utilizing these distributed ledger technologies. There you have it. Not to mention, this is great advertising for Algorand, right? So now, let's move on to a little bit of Stellar news. Stellar has been just going insane with how many panels they're on. There's going to be a lot of great information coming out of these panels. You know they have Meridian coming up, and they've just stacked Meridian with powerful talkers. But let's read just a little bit here. So it says, welcoming Settle Network's Business Development Director at Jack Sarico to our Meridian 2022 speaker lineup. So there you have it. So you have the Business Development Director of Settle is going to be there. Then I believe you have something else here. Let's see. Yes. So then you also have, I don't know if I covered this before. They just tweeted this out 21 hours ago. It says, welcoming Ukraine's Deputy Minister of Digital Transformation to our Meridian 2022 lineup. So Ukraine is still in play. They're still building over there. Everything is still a go. Of course, some things have slowed down. So then you have that. Also, we have some more. Okay, so you know that Denell Dixon, leader of Stellar, was supposed to be doing another session with the United States government. It got pushed back. It says here from this tweet, today's hearing is postponed. Stay tuned for when it's back on schedule. And then the subtweet here reads, the conversation in DC continues without at-house AG Dems and at-house AG GOP tomorrow. Okay, this time I'll discuss how blockchain promotes financial inclusion and how Stellar ecosystem companies focus on services that achieve this. Denell Dixon is one of the most persuasive speakers in the blockchain Bankcoin family. And Denell Dixon is the reason why a lot of deals happen and why a lot of people come to the table that are in the governments, that are involved with the states, federal, state. This is going to be very, very good. We need to keep an eye on this and keep an ear open to, so we can stay privy to what the results of this are, if there maybe a transcript comes out and we can glean a little bit about the progress of the conversation. But this is excellent. Not only that, we have more. We have more. Stellar's going insane. Denell Dixon is out front with the sword. This is good. So now Denell Dixon will also be at, what is this called? Converge? My goodness, there's so many panels happening. This is the season of information. Denell Dixon is going to be on a panel. You can't get better advertising than this. On a panel or at this particular event with Serena Williams. Serena Williams is there on behalf of Serena Ventures. This Like, I don't think people understand. The bank coins are going to explode. So you have Serena Williams will be there. Sheila Warren will be there. I believe Kevin O'Leary is on this list. He will be there. A bevy of people from Circle, obviously. Like, there's so many powerful people on this panel or series of panels. Is mind-blowing. And Denell Dixon, of course, is going to get around and be talking to a lot of different people. This is good. This is how partnerships are made. This is how first contacts are made. Then a phone call later, and then an office meeting, a virtual meeting, then maybe a memorandum of understanding. So this could have great results from something like this. Let me scroll up here and just get the name of this event, okay? Because there's so many speakers. I had to scroll down a great amount of the way of the page. It says Converge 2022. So there you have it. Denell Dixon will be here. On the advertisement, Denell Dixon is on there, Serena Williams, and a lot of other powerful people. This is going to be massive. It's like they're forming Voltron. Everything's coming to go together very, very well, in my humble opinion, okay? So now, let's cover a little bit of regular, well, not regular news, but like regular crypto news. Okay, so now, let's cover a little bit of this this U.S. House legislation article. It says, U.S. House legislation looks to place 2-year ban on UST-like stablecoins. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says, the decline of Terra Luna and its UST and correlating Luna token earlier this year brought along plenty of fanfare. Its full damage implications, however, have clearly yet to be established. A new draft of a U.S. House bill is proposing a 2-year ban on stablecoins similar to Terra's UST stablecoin. I'm not understanding why they're talking about a 2-year ban. If you're going to ban it, just ban it. But I've never been one who has been a supporter of algorithmic stablecoins. I've always stayed away from those. It's been USDC from the beginning. There's just so much wrong with an algorithmic stablecoin. But let's read this a little bit here. It says, according to a report from Bloomberg, the House bill takes aim at stablecoins. No, algorithmic stablecoins. My goodness. See how they make blanket statements? So now anybody that's new to crypto is going to think stablecoins are all risky. No, there's different types. One-to-one backed stablecoins like USDC are not a threat to anyone. You put in your dollar, you can receive your dollar. You can pull your dollar out. Algorithmic stablecoins are obviously very different, hence the name, algorithmic stablecoin. It says, and would mandate a study on Terra-like tokens from Treasury, along with a bevy of federal financial bodies, including the Federal Reserve, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, which the Federal Reserve isn't going to do anything. What they're going to do, I won't say they're not going to do anything themselves. So what they'll do is they'll outsource it to MIT, Made in Labs, right? The MIT digital department, and Made in Labs, who works with the MIT digital department, and they will put together probably a fantastic, mind-blowing PDF, like they always do. Hand it to the Fed, then the Fed will know what actions to take. But it wouldn't happen until then. That's why they would need a little bit of time on this. So it's understandable. It says, the final version of the bill has not been proposed, and the bill, led by House members Maxine Waters and Patrick McHenry, is still working through draft iterations before its presentation to the House. It's always interesting to me how individuals like this, they make these bills and these laws as such, right? And yet, I firmly believe if I asked them to just tell me the difference between certain distributed ledger technologies, and I don't think that they will have a great amount of detail. I don't think that they're greatly educated on these things, nor feel like they need to be. But maybe they have some advisors or something like that that keep them privy of what is what and which way to go when making bills and crafting bills. So, we'll keep an eye open, and hopefully everything is all for the best and they don't overstep their bounds, because like I said, they're saying stablecoins outright in here, but it's not stablecoins outright. It's algorithmic stablecoins. You need to clarify those things when you're writing these bills and when you're releasing information for articles. But maybe it's just the article writer who chose to write it that way. So now, finally, we're at our last article here. This has been a good day, good news, in my humble opinion. This is from Finbold, and I have referenced this article earlier in the video. It says, New York real estate developer buys first ever real life office building as NFT. As I said before, real estate value is going to flow in mass through the distributed ledger technologies, mostly the bank coins, because we will be the last ones standing when regulatory clarity is enacted. And here you have a perfect example of this. Look how easy it probably was. I know it was probably so easy to purchase this with almost no transaction fees, no intermediaries. As interest in buying land in the metaverse continues to grow, the very first non-fungible token office building in New York City has been sold. The 4,700 square meter NFT located at 44 West 37th Street functions as an irreversible digital asset which claims to monetize and authenticate ownership of the building's digital assets, and was acquired by a real estate developer, Azul NYC. The 16-story structure that calls into question the role that architecture plays in real estate and the metaverse was designed by Integrated Projects, who announced the sale at the start of September. Furthermore, the 44 West 37 NFT was minted on the decentralized open source blockchain Ethereum ETH and was sold for 1 ETH, currently valued around $1,300. Okay, so I would expect this to be on Ethereum. There's a lot of real estate projects on Ethereum. Ethereum is one of the most popular of blockchains out there. So this makes perfect sense in my humble opinion. But in the future, I believe a lot of that will move over Hedera and Algorand. Hedera and Algorand have amazing NFT ecosystems, and you can't beat those transaction fees. You understand? So, and you know, just to address what I said before about low transaction fees, understand that when you're dealing with even Ethereum, it's much better than the legacy system offerings. Even with high Ethereum gas fees, is much better dealing with Ethereum for a bevy of reasons than dealing with the legacy system. So that's how bad the legacy system is. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.